Back in the early 1940s, the small rural town used to be a major railway junction with beaming steam engines transporting wool and mohair from the farms in this area to Port Elizabeth and Graaff-Reinet. Many years later, it is a sorry sight, with poverty evident the moment you drive in. Kliplaat today is like any town in drought-stricken rural Eastern Cape. Underdeveloped, dilapidated buildings on every corner, dirt on the streets, lifeless and a ghost town. Poverty and unemployment is rife. Basic services such as water and electricity, a luxury. Somebody who knows this all too well is 8-year-old Lower Majeakgoro. She was born here and throughout the years has seen the once prime tourist destination become a sorry sight. She lives in the small house alone and relies on social grants to get by. She has a chronic illness that needs medication monthly. With only one clinic operational, she has to walk miles to pick up her pills. A nearest doctor is an hour away.
There is no medical doctor here, and that is a huge problem. And it's something that we have been fighting for years. When I'm sick, I have to be taken all the way to Graaff-Reinet to get help. We have to take the ambulance to get there. Sometimes it arrives, sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't, you just stay at home and only hope you will get better and not die.
Ambulance.
Nearby, 31-year-old single mother Louise Williams lives here with her 2 children. The only source of income she has is a social grant. She only gets half of it. After paying loan sharks, she's left with close to nothing.
And because I was not 3 weeks, I feared the because I'm black. But I'm sorry.
The money that I get from the grants only lasts me for 3 weeks. In the last week of the month, it is really tough and we struggle. I have to buy everything for these kids, food, clothes, and still run the house. It's really so hard. Worst part is that the loan shark takes half of that money when it comes in, so I really don't have much to get by. It's so tough. At times we sleep with just a slice of bread. If only we could get jobs, life would be better.
There's only a police station and no post office, shops or any other service centers. This small cafe services more than 3,000 people. The closest town is Janssenville, which costs 80 rand to get there and back. A hefty price for the majority of people here who have no income. But there is a lifeline, a soup kitchen which provides a meal a day to over 500 people. It also runs a skills development workshop, but without their own place, it's become unsustainable.
Na 2 uur toe die skool het. Hulle hardloop om by die sop kom bysteed want die meeste van die kinders is van hulle is dit die enigste bord kos.
The reason why we started this soup kitchen here in Klipplaat is that we saw the poverty in this area. We help a lot of school kids. As early as 1 o'clock, the kids rush to get here because for most of them, this is the only plate of food they will get until the next day. If we could just get a proper place to teach these young people skills, they could take these skills and then be able to be self-sufficient and help themselves to stop the poverty in their families.
En te verkoop. Op die einde van die dag as daai jong mens kan hy sy eie besigheid staan.
There is only one school with a pass rate close to 0. Last year, only 1 matric pupil passed. The others dropped out.
The daily lifestyle here in Klipplaat is not any lifestyle that you would wish to live in, because as a youth, speaking for the youth, I would say that there isn't enough resources for us as youth to study further. And the other thing is our school is very poor, pulverized, and the reason why the youth of the school, most of them drop out of school, is because the school is not equipped enough for all of us, and the children drop out as to the reasons of educators not being here at the school, and the educators drop out due to the children being rude. And as you can see here, there isn't even proper infrastructure, as you could have seen as you came in here. And the other thing is the youth is like in the drugs, like for real in the drugs. It's dacha, it's stuck, it's everything.
However, even though dusty and dry, the town was once thriving with an important railway junction between Port Elizabeth and Graaff-Reinet, including a link to Oudtshoorn via Willemore. Someone who lived during the time when the railway was the heartbeat of the town is 70-year-old Nicholas Singeni. Sadly, he says, the town has lost its former luster.
This town is not what it used to be. There is no order in this place anymore. Even the water is so bad. I wish they could send people to come and test the water. It has a very horrible smell, and we are not sure why the water is like this. I've noticed that the municipality doesn't clean the dam. Hence the water smells so bad. So much so that we can't use the water. That's the sad life we live here. Everything is being vandalized. This town used to be so pretty, but now it is run down and a sorry sight.
Most people here have chronic illnesses such as HIV and AIDS, tuberculosis and diabetes. Unfortunately, because most are unemployed, a proper diet is not common, making things tough for the nurses in this area.
Now what is happening with them, they come, they have not eaten, they inject anyway. And it takes time, and then you are so concerned that, I thought this dosage was doing well, why now? And a person would be not knowing what is happening, sometimes it's comatose, and now you don't know what to do. And after some time, then you realize that in fact this person was put on the wrong medication in the first place, because the insulin is now making things worse. And it's not easy. The story of poverty is not easy to get it on the first visit or the second visit. You need to be knowing the pattern of how this person is doing things. Sometimes people are shy to can say what exactly has happened. But now, as you get used to your patients, they happen to be able to confide. And in most instances, you realize that once you sort of try and turn that story of being destitute and of not having food, and sometimes then we realize this person is post 60 years, or this person is staying with some orphans, or is staying, all those things which they are not aware that government does assist in conditions like that. And it's only then that when they get the grant and they there is some food at home, then you begin to see the improvement in their state. But that help of the grant is just but a tiny little bit. It's not sustaining the family, it's not sustaining a sick person, as you would know. It is fine for a person who's not ill, but for somebody who has to eat like a diabetic person, it is very difficult.
The residents here have lost hope. They live on handouts as and when Good Samaritans stop by with food parcels. They are pleading with the municipality to use vacant land to build service centres and recreational facilities to become self-sufficient. Lerato Fekisi, SABC News, Kliplaat.